So recently I read a book called The Road by Cormac McCarthy, and with the book I just read by Blake Crouch, there are similarities, but with Blake Crouch's book, he takes this type of story to a whole new level. What's up guys, welcome back to Unlimited Reads. My name is Chris and today I'll be giving my spoiler-free review of Run by Mr. Blake Crouch. This is the 8th Blake Crouch book I have read and he has not let me down yet. I first became aware of Blake Crouch and got addicted to his work way back in January of last year, where for the first time I picked up the Wayward Pines trilogy, and I remember smashing through those 3 books like there was no tomorrow. I thoroughly enjoyed it and then immediately sought out some of his other work and went on to read Dark Matter, Recursion, and more recently, late last year, Upgrade, which I ended up pre-ordering because Blake Crouch for me has become an auto-buy. So any book that he brings out from here on in, I'm going to pre-order, and I can't wait to see what he comes up with next because his science fiction novels are very accessible. He doesn't weigh you down with too much excess description and fluff throughout the book. It's all about characters who drive his story. So yes, there are science fiction elements, cutting edge elements that are prevalent in his books, but it's not heavy, it's very light. The characters do all the work for him, and that's why the books are so easy to read and very quick to read, because the characters go through events at a breakneck pace, and the narrative pace of the books themselves is absolutely incredible. And they're a really great palate cleanser in between larger books or series that you might be reading at the time. And yeah, I just can't get enough. And Run was an absolutely fantastic book, and a disturbing book as well. So what is the book about? So firstly, a rash of bizarre murders has swept the country. Senseless, brutal, seemingly unconnected. A cop walks into a nursing home and blows everyone away, elderly and staff alike. Massive school shootings. There are prison riots of unprecedented brutality. Mind-boggling acts of violence in every state, the lower 47 states. 4 days ago, the murders increased tenfold. 3 days ago, the president addressed the nation and begged for calm and peace. 2 days ago, the killers began to mobilize. And yesterday, all the power went out. And tonight, they're reading out the names over an emergency frequency of those that need to be killed. You are listening over the battery-powered radio on your kitchen table, and they've just read your name out. Your name is Jack McLaughlin. I can't pronounce his last name. Jack Colclough. You have a wife, a daughter, and a son. You live in Albuquerque, New Mexico. People are coming to your house to kill you and your family. You don't know why. You don't have time to think about it anymore. You only have time to run. So we have the central main characters. We have Jack, his wife Dee, his son Cole, and his daughter Naomi, who have to leave their comfortable lifestyle in an instant and need to flee because people are on their way over to his house to kill him and his family. So as they drive through the country, it's been burnt, it's been pillaged, it's been looted. No place appears to be safe, and their ordeal spans from Albuquerque, New Mexico, right up to Montana, right up to near the Canadian border, where it's rumored that this event or this thing that has set people off wasn't prevalent up there, and there seems to be a glimmer of hope to a better life and a better future in safety. Now, I also have a favourite passage from the book. I always like to find these, and it's just an example of great writing, and I'll read it to you now. This is where Jack, Dee, Cole and Naomi are first fleeing their home, and they're driving through this pillaged and looted landscape. And it says, Jack drove on. They had been shot down, 10 or 15 of them, some killed outright, brain matter slung into quivering grey, pink globules on the street. Others had managed to cover some ground before dying, the distance of their final crawl measured by swaths of purple-stained pavement, and in one instance a long grey rope of gut like the woman had been tethered to the street. Writing like this is so impressive, and I always like to share bits of similes and descriptions with you because I think it just illustrates the fine example of how good a writer Blake Crouch is. To further complicate things, there are issues within the family dynamic, which I won't reveal here, that really test Jack and Dee to their absolute limits, and the kids hats off to Cole and Naomi on how they handle the chaos that has upended their comfortable life as they know it. It just proves as parents that we don't give kids enough credit. They are so resilient in times of crisis. And I'm going to borrow a quote. I've used this quote on the channel before about kids in fiction. And it's drawn from a movie, you might all know it, Poltergeist 2, where the Native American Indian shaman Taylor is talking to Diane about her children before they face an ultimate confrontation between themselves and the Reverend Cain, who is a scary figure, let me tell you. And while he's talking to Diane, I'll quote him now and I'll have to read it. And he says, "Children have fought wars, they've built nations, they're strong and have courage. Don't treat them any less than that because they're young." We underestimate kids, and the way that Cole and Naomi handle themselves in this ordeal is absolutely incredible. So it just proves we do underestimate kids, and they are so resilient. The family has to contend with murdering gangs, armies, injuries. Don't even get me started on the injuries in this book. I'm not going to spoil anything, but if you've got a strong stomach, you'll do all right. They have to deal with hunger, despair, grief, bombs, guns, knives, endless mountain treks and negotiating harsh wilderness, horrible weather conditions, and both Dee and Jack witness what happens to some of the people that fall victim to these marauding armies, and it ain't pretty. I'm going to pull the band-aid off here. It's very confronting and very graphic at times, but very, very well written. Now, the tension throughout the book is non-stop, and it'll leave you gasping for breath. Blake Crouch does not let up on the tension and the nail-biting events that happen in the book. And in my opinion, he does really well in the fact that this event or this thing that has affected these people, he only gives a hint of what it may be. I think it's up to the reader to draw their own conclusions and form their own theories about it, which, you know, as frustrating as it might be that you don't find out exactly what happened, just a hint of it, you need to rely on your imagination just a little bit. And for an author to do that, you know, that's fine. It actually challenges you as a reader. So Blake Crouch is officially 8 for 8 for me. I love this one, and if you want an excellent character study in how they grow and evolve and triumph amongst surmountable odds and impossible odds, this book is for you. And if you've read Blake Crouch before and enjoy his books, you know what I'm talking about here with the narrative pacing and the character-driven tension. I would urge you to read it. You won't regret it. Just be warned that there are scenes in this book that are quite graphic, but you know what? You'll rip through it in no time. It was so enjoyable, fast-paced, cinematic. There were very, very high stakes. I found some parts of the book I'm saying, Jack, no, this can't happen. Blake, don't do this to me. Yeah, you will root for these customers to survive, and you know, the story is great. It's about you know, the rekindled love of a family. There are marital challenges that Jack and Dee face along the way that get resolved, and how they go through this ordeal is absolutely, you just feel for them. So get reading it if you haven't read it already, and read it ASAP. You will not regret it. And if you do end up reading it, or if you have read it, please let me know what you think in the comments below. Let's compare notes. So that is it for my review. Thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and until next time, which isn't far away because I'm churning out the content, I'll see you later.